Hey guys, so welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but after the holidays, the new year and everything, I decided to take a little break and spend some time with my family. So I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a very happy new year, and I hope you guys are sticking to those New Year's resolutions. And I thought that now that Brian's kind of out of the newborn stage, I kind of figured I wanted to make a video of newborn must-haves and things that really helped me survive the newborn stage. And some of this stuff, it's going to seem like a lot, and for tiny little people, they require a lot. So to start, I guess the biggest thing is in the beginning don't really spit up, but then all of a sudden, like after the first couple weeks or the first month, all of a sudden acid reflux will kick in for a lot of babies, and some of them will have a burp, and I call it a verp because they'll burp, and some milk or formula, whatever you feed your baby, will come back up. So the biggest thing to have is lots of rags everywhere. Like, they have burp cloths that you can buy, or if you just want to use like softer face cloths, I have both, because honestly I have them in every corner of my house, because I could be carrying him around and all of a sudden he just has a verp and I need to have a cloth and to wipe it up and to wipe his little face. He's also going through a little bit of teething right now, so again, he's drooling. It's like a faucet gets turned on. So I always have burp cloths or little softer rags to wipe his face with, and you want them to be softer so they're not real rough, and you're not going to make his skin, him or her skin, really raw by rubbing them all the time. So you want them to be on the softer side. So that's one of the bigger things that I found really helpful. The other thing is when they're first born, I mean, it's a huge change. All of a sudden they go from this warm, tight place to this like cold, open world. And the biggest thing that you're going to want to do with your baby for the first months, he's still doing this, but is to swaddle them. So to have lots of swaddle blankets. If you haven't watched, I have a video on my super swaddle, because a normal swaddle didn't work for my guy. So I had to do what was called the super swaddle, and I'll put a link down below, or I can actually put it right in the screen somewhere here. But that was really helpful for us. But having a lot of cotton swaddle blankets, you don't want them to be too heavy, because they will get overheated because they're so snug. You don't want them to sweat and get overheated. So I try to keep them a little bit on the lighter side. So that's the other thing, is having lots of swaddle blankets. If you don't like swaddle blankets, they do make these little kind of like knapsack type things. They're Velcro, and you just slip your baby's lower part into this, and then you put their arms down, you Velcro them kind of like in a swaddle type thing. I don't really know how to explain this, but you can buy these at any baby stores. The first time I used it, my little guy was too small for it, so I'm hoping now that he's a little bit bigger and he's going to eventually start sleeping in his own crib, that hopefully I can start wrapping him in this, because it is a little bit on the bigger side, so it really didn't take much for him to just squirm his arm out, because it just wasn't tight enough yet. So I think if you are going to use this, you need to get a smaller one, a newborn size one, or just wait until they're a little bit bigger and use swaddle blankets until they're able to actually get into one of these. So hopefully it's super, super soft, and I think he'll like it, so hopefully he'll be able to get into it at some point, but who knows. I mean, he doesn't really have to be swaddled, especially since he sleeps next to me. But I think when he starts sleeping by himself, I think he is going to like being swaddled again. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll try that. I guess the other thing, too, is some have, different opinions on, we call them pluggies, but pacifiers. Newborns have, a really big urge to suck. And so if you're breastfeeding, they'll want to use you a lot to just nurse and comfort. It's called comfort nursing. So we were really against them at first, and actually before we left the hospital, I actually decided to use one, because he was always wanting to be on me, he always wanted to be nursing, and he wasn't hungry. So we ended up switching to just a pluggy or pacifier, whatever you want to call it. And right now, since he's 3, almost 4 months, he really doesn't use him anymore. He doesn't need him as much as he did. And I'm not going to push it, because I don't want to be having to take it away and have it be a big stressful thing. So sometimes if I need to switch from breast to just him making himself fall asleep next to me, I'll just put one in. And usually after about 5 minutes, he'll just spit it out and be asleep. But some babies do need it all the time. Every baby is different. But honestly, this was a must-have for me. So I don't know. It's every parent's choice, but this is definitely one of the must-haves for me. So moving on to Feeding, this one has formula in it right now, but he is basically just breastfed or I pump milk, but we were going out yesterday for a long time and I just had some formula with me just in case. My view on breastfeeding in public is that basically I don't want to start a debate, so I don't even try. But again, everyone's different and you'll figure out what you want to do with your baby, but bringing formula or pumped milk works for me. But anyways, that wasn't the point of what I was trying to say. The whole point of this is the nipple. When I switched him or started introducing bottles, he realized how easy it was to get the milk out, and so he would guzzle for a while, and he'd guzzle so much that he would just down it, and he wouldn't even realize that he was hungry yet, or he would spit it all back up because he'd have so much air. And I didn't realize that they made these little slow flow nipples, and it just has one little pinhole nipple, and they have to work a little bit harder to get at the milk. And even at almost 4 months, I'm still using this because I tried using the one with the 2 holes, and he guzzled it, it all came back up. So right now, again, every baby is different. You can play with the different nipples and the different bottles that work for you, but the Advent bottles work for me. He's now on the bigger size one because he drinks about 5-6 ounces, but I still am using the slow flow, lowest flow nipple that they have. So I wish I knew that at the beginning because it would have saved us a lot of issues, because I was using the ones with 2 holes and I had no idea. I was like, why is he spitting up all the time? And it really stopped a lot of the puking and mess and it made him happier. And yeah, so definitely get a slow flow nipple with just the 1 pinhole if you are having a baby who is just upchucking everything after eating. He may just be getting too much at one time. So that's that. The other thing with babies, and again, I still use this stuff, is gas relief drops and gripe water. Gas relief drops I don't really notice a whole lot of difference with. I still have them. I don't use them as much. But the gripe water, yeah, get some gripe water and it's going to be a staple. When babies are first born, their digestive systems are very immature and gas builds up so easily in babies, whether they're swallowing air or just their whatever is in your diet or the milk and formula, they have a harder time breaking it down. So what really helped Brian was gripe water, and it really saved a lot of discomfort. It wasn't until after the first month I finally found this stuff, or I got recommended to use it, and oh my goodness, the difference was crazy. You just give them in the first, the directions are right on the back, but yeah, between babies 2 weeks and 1 month of age, you just give them 2.5 milliliters, which is 1 syringe, and then he's up to 5 milliliters, so obviously 2 syringes. It seems like a lot, but it's really not. And it's not super expensive, and honestly, with the difference it made, I will spend the money on it all day. And he definitely doesn't have as many gas issues as he used to, but I still give it to him after, if he ends up eating more, sometimes he usually eats 4 ounces, but if he ends up having a 5 or 6 ounce feed, I'll usually give him some gripe water because I know he's probably going to get a little bit gassy. And it's safe. I think you can give it up to 6 times in 24 hours, so you can, if you kind of split it up, you can give it at every feeding and really help your little one out. So that was another really big staple. The other one is, again, back to the whole, in the first couple weeks, babies, they hate cold, they hate diaper changes, so it's really stressful the first couple weeks. And you want to be really quick with it because you want the temper tantrum to be over. So Jammies with zippers this one's all messed up. Jammies with zippers were a lifesaver because it's super easy. You just throw their legs in it, zip it up, and you can pick them up. It's really quick. You don't have to deal with all the buttons and lining it up right. Because like I said, Brian, oh my goodness, I'm so guilty of avoiding diaper changes for a while. I was trying to push it as long as I could because I knew it was going to be a meltdown every time. And if I had to deal with buttons, it prolonged it that much longer, and he was wailing, and oh my goodness, it was stressful. And I realized that Jammies with zippers was so much quicker. Like I said, just put the legs in, zip it up, pick them up, cuddle them, and they're okay. And eventually they get used to the cold air, and Brian loves his diaper changes now. He smiles nonstop. He loves it, but definitely if you are having trouble with diaper changes and your baby just can't stand them quite yet, just stick with the Jammies. I know they have a lot of cute little newborn clothes, and I know it's really tempting to put them in all that stuff, but if your baby is fussy and just doesn't like to be in the cold air, keep it simple for them. Save the cute clothes for later. So I guess the last thing, well, close to the last thing that I have is my Brian. Tummy time is really important for a baby. Not in the first couple weeks, but probably after the first month. You want to start introducing them to tummy time, and Brian could not stand just being put on his tummy on the floor because he couldn't quite get his upper body up to look. So I ended up getting him a tummy time mat, which looks like this. It has little toys and like a mirror he can look at. And the biggest thing that really helped him was this pillow. You don't necessarily have to get the tummy time mat. You can even just get like a little pillow. But when they're first learning how to lift up their body, I noticed that it really took the stress out of it by propping him up on a pillow on his chest. And that way he could look around, and it made him want to like lift up higher. So he still isn't a fan of tummy time, but I can get him to go about 5 minutes. He really likes just being on his back and playing on his other play mat, but this definitely, like the toys on it and the mirror, definitely gets his attention. I can kind of squeeze a little bit more time out of him with a tummy time mat. So that's the other thing, and it was only like $15, and I just throw it on the floor and put him on it and hope that he'll stay there and work on lifting his body. I mean, he can now roll over from tummy to back, and he's trying to learn to go from back to tummy, but definitely propping him up really helped him. I guess the only last thing I have is definitely a swing. Because, well, I guess I've got two things, and I don't really have them on me right now, but I'll just tell you about them. I have a Fisher-Price little lamb swing. He is better now that he's older, but in the beginning he had to be rocked to sleep. And getting a swing made it to where I was able to put him down, put the swing on, and just let him rock. And he'd eventually fall asleep, and I'd get like an hour of like downtime. That was after he was about a month old, and he loves his swing now. He'll spend like 4-hour naps in his swing. Or, I mean, now I can get him to go in like his bed too, but he definitely loves his swing. So if you're going to invest in anything, invest into a good swing. I got a swing at my baby shower, and it's one of those cheaper, like low to the ground ones, and honestly it burned out. So if you are going to get a swing, whether you ask for it at your baby shower or you go to go buy one, definitely get one that's a little bit more pricey. You're gonna use it, and you're gonna use it for a long time. At just turning 3, almost 4 months, he's still using it every day for hours a day. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to change the motor in this one, which is also the good thing, is that I can replace the motor if it does burn out. So that's one thing that is definitely a must-have for infants. And then 2 is the first couple weeks with Brian, he did not like to be put down. Oh my goodness, I couldn't. I like going pee, anything. If I put him down, I'd have to like move quick because he would just scream. Like you thought it was like he was dying. So the thing that really changed me is baby wearing, or that really changed it was baby wearing. I use the Baby Bjorn. And some people don't like the ones that like have they call them crotch danglers. He really liked it. I tried the Moby wrap. I tried 7 slings, and it just didn't work for us. He didn't like how cramped it made him. So Baby Bjorn really worked for him because he was able to be up against my chest, but he still had a little bit of freedom, and he wasn't squished together, which is how I feel the Moby was. And I really wasn't talented enough to try all the other wraps. So if the Moby will work for you, that's great. But Baby Bjorn really worked for me. So definitely swing any front carrier. So if you have a baby that always needs to be held, having baby wearing frees up your hands, and you can still get housework done, and you don't feel like you're just stuck. And you can just lay down on the couch with them and not really have to like hold them, you know? And you can read a book, or you could be like on your phone or doing something. I mean, the first couple weeks with a newborn, you're going to be spending a lot of time watching TV on the couch. There is no doubt about it. And honestly, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because Brian's getting a little bit more independent now. He's like, he can play in his swing, he can lay on his play mat, which is great. I like having the time to do stuff, but I miss just snuggling with him too, like wanting to be snuggled all the time, because now he's so active. He wants to be bounced, he wants to be played with, he wants to look at things, he wants to, you know, he's just so active. He has a really hard time just laying on me. So in the first couple weeks, really enjoy those. I mean, I didn't know that, so I was always like trying to put him down. And so I kind of wish I had enjoyed that a little bit more. And don't get me wrong, he still snuggles with me, but not nearly as much. I can still nap with him when he falls asleep. But again, enjoy it. I mean, don't Don't get all uptight and be like, I can't put my baby down, what do I do? It's not going to be forever, guys. It really isn't. Enjoy it, and eventually they're going to be 18 and out of the house. He's already 4 months, and I feel like I just had him. But anyways, that's the newborn must-haves for me. Again, everyone is different, and what I showed you may not work for you or your baby, and maybe other videos on here will help you, but hopefully I helped someone, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.